Hey guys, it's Caroline, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience as a student in the Bachelor's program at Lorenzo de' Medici in Florence, Italy. Whew, that's a mouthful. Oh my gosh, I'm so hyper. I had too many coffees today. So Lorenzo de' Medici is an American university in Florence associated with a school in Poughkeepsie. I hope I'm saying that right. Poughkeepsie. I don't know. Anyways, as some of you might know, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in Italian language at a university in Florence, Italy, and that university was Lorenzo de' Medici. Lorenzo de' Medici is actually associated with an American university in New York called Marist College, and so my degree actually came from Marist College in New York. My diploma says Marist College, but I completed the degree through the branch campus in Florence, Italy. I absolutely loved my experience at Lorenzo de' Medici, and I really don't have any complaints, but I thought I'd share some pros and cons with you guys since I did notice a few things that maybe not everybody would like. So let's start with the pros. The first thing I saw as a big benefit is that the classes are a lot smaller. So if I was taking a course that was more focused on my particular degree, I might have had like 2 or 3 students in the class sometimes, which definitely was small, but it kind of worked in my favor because I did get sort of that undivided attention from the teacher. But most of my classes had around 10-15 people in them. Nala. Woo! This cat. Okay. Where was I? Most of my classes had around 10 or 15 students on average, I would say, and that felt like a very comfortable size for me personally. Some people might think that's still too small. I don't know, it's really a personal preference, but I really loved that aspect of my university. Another thing I loved were the cooking classes. So my university offered cooking classes as an elective, and they had a state-of-the-art facility in the Mercato Centrale, which is the central market in Florence, and they built this incredible facility right before I started school there, so everything was brand new. There were iPads at every cooking station with top-notch cookware, and the teachers were absolutely amazing. I actually took a cooking class every semester, and I just completely fell in love with cooking because of their cooking program there. Another perk I loved was that classes were only Monday through Thursday since it was a study abroad institute. So every Friday through Sunday I had no classes, and it was just really nice to know I would have a long weekend every weekend. My classes were only Monday through Thursday, and one semester I was actually able to make my schedule, so I only had classes Monday through Wednesday, so I actually had a super long weekend every week, and that was absolutely incredible. Another thing I loved about LDM is that I met students from all over the world there. So there were students coming from North America, South America, Canada, Dubai, Spain. Honestly, you name it, there was someone from that place. I met so many different people from so many different walks of life, and that was one of my favorite parts about being at a study abroad institute, because I literally have friends all over the globe, and most of them just stayed a semester, but I still made those lifelong connections with a few people, and I still keep in touch with a lot of them today. Next thing I loved were the art history classes. Normally, I always found art history to be a little boring because I was just looking at a textbook, but when I took art history classes in Florence, it was incredible because they would take us on site, and so I was basically standing inside or in front of these monumental pieces of history, and it just made them come to life so much more, and it was so interesting once I was right there next to it. Wow, it was life-changing. The next thing I loved about LDM is that all my teachers were so cool and so interesting, and most of them were Italian. Out of all my years at LDM, I really truly fell in love with every professor I had. Another thing I loved about LDM was the city campus. My first year of college, I went to Loyola Chicago actually, and then I transferred to Lorenzo de' Medici my second year, so I already sort of had a feel for what a campus atmosphere was, and I can say for sure that I prefer the city campus vibe. I just loved having like the independence, and it just made me feel more like an adult walking to my classes, walking through the city, walking to different buildings, and it kept it really exciting. And as I walked to school, it wasn't just students I saw people who lived in the city, and I just felt more like part of the community. Another huge perk about LDM is that you have really long winter breaks. Most colleges in the US have like a few week break. They don't extend much longer than a month, and mine was a month and 20 days. And the reason for the long winter break is because they have students come for the January intersession, which is just a month-long sort of program where they offer different classes and stuff. So that meant a long winter break for us, and I loved having that time to travel and just sort of have like a good gap between the semesters. At Loyola, I remember my break was maybe 3.5 weeks, and it felt so short and rushed, and I really couldn't do much during that time. So having that long break at LDM was something I absolutely loved. So let's talk about some cons. As I said before, I really don't have many bad things to say about my university. I had an incredible experience at LDM, but I did notice some things that maybe wouldn't be as great for some people, so I think it's only fair to mention those now. The first con is that students are coming and going every semester. So since it's a study abroad institution, it's not like a typical college where you go for 4 years and your same friends are there all 4 years. Instead, most people are coming just for a semester. So a lot of the friends I made actually were only there for, you know, a few months, and then they'd leave and I'd have to say goodbye, and then a whole new group of people would come in and I'd have to start all over again making friends. And besides my few friends I lived with who were also in the bachelor's program with me, most of my friends were constantly changing, and I saw that as something cool because I loved meeting new people all the time. But I think some people really love the idea of having the same friends for 4 years and the same sort of community for 4 years, and instead my community was constantly shifting. Okay, so the next con is the Institute of Lorenzo de Medici definitely encourages independence. So by that I mean you're kind of on your own most of the time and there isn't too much guidance. I did have an academic counselor who was super helpful in picking classes with me and helping me kind of create my schedule every semester. But besides that, a lot of the times my friends in the bachelor program and I sort of felt like we were left in the dark. I guess the best way to put it is the university wasn't there to hold your hand through everything you had to do during your time in Florence, and you kind of had to take the reins yourself and really be proactive in getting things done and being responsible in general in Florence. But as far as academics, they definitely gave guidance. Another thing that some people might not like is how small the program itself is. My bachelor's program had about 30 students in it, so there were really just a few of us who were there long term, and that meant a lot less people to sort of get close to in the bachelor's program. And there was only one other person in my grade who was graduating with the same degree as I was, so that could for sure be a downside for some people. The next con is something you're gonna find at every study abroad institution, but hello, I was in a bachelor's program and not there for the same reasons as some other people. I'm going to state the obvious here and say that a lot of students who study abroad have this sort of party mentality, and most of them are there to travel, to party, to drink, and to just kind of go wild for a semester. And a lot of the students on the program were doing pass-fail, so that meant they didn't get a letter grade, and if they got at least a D in each class they were taking, it was a pass, so they just got like a P on their final report. So they weren't really concerned about the letter grades they were getting or their semester GPA, they just kind of wanted to pass the course and have fun the rest of the time. I found a way to deal with that so it didn't become like a major issue for me, but I think that could probably bother some people who really don't like to be around that atmosphere and really need everyone around them to be as focused as they are for them to do well. I'm able to self-motivate pretty well, so it didn't really concern me too much how other people in the class were doing, but some people might have an issue with that. So that pretty much sums up the pros and cons of my experience at Lorenzo de Medici. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I do upload twice a week and I'm always making new content about Italy and everything else, and it's lovely, so join the club! Okay, I'm done. I'm an American girl living in Italy and I'm here to share all things Italy and a little in between. I will see you guys next time. Ciao for now. Ciao for now!